All right, let's take a look. Another review. Multiply or divide 1/3 times 6. Yeah, I can do it in my head, but just so 1/3 times 6 is 6/3. So 6 times 1 is 6. 6/3. How many times does 3 go into 6? 2. Then we have 1/3 times 7, which is, the denominator is going to stay the same. It's going to be 7/3. How many times does 3 go into 7? Well, twice. That would be 6, but then there's something left over. So there's 1 left over, 2 and 1/3. 4/6 times 9. 9 times 4 is 36. 36/6. How many times does 6 go into 36? Well, 6 times 6 is 36, so the answer is 6. 3/5 of 20. Let's see, 3 times 20, well, let me go ahead and write it, is 60. 60/5. I could count by 5s, that would be pretty fast. If I didn't know what the 5 times 12 is 60, I could also write it this way. 5 goes into 6 how many times? Once. 1 times 5 is 5. How many times does 5 go into 10? Twice. So our answer is 12. That is a math fact we should know by now. 60 divided by 5 is 12. Okay. Let's see. I know that for every foot there are 12 inches. Sorry for all the shaking. So 3 times 12 is going to tell us how many inches are in 3 feet. Let's put that in parentheses to do that first. 3 times 12 is 36. 1/4 times 36. Hey, if you just know what the answer is, great. Otherwise, we're just going to multiply across. 36 times 1 is 36. 36/4. How many times does 4 go into 36? The answer is 9. So we put up our answer up there, and we see that 1/4 of 3 feet is 9 inches. Well, what about 1/3 of 4 yards? So I know that in yard, what do we need in inches or feet? Feet. So I know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. So 4 yards is 4 times 3, and then we're going to take 1/3 of that. 4 times 3 is 12. 1/3 of 12, or 12/3. How many times does 3 go into 12? 4 times. Okay. Yeah, this should go pretty quickly. Let's see. 2 plus 1/2 times 12. I have to do what's in the parentheses first. 2 plus 1/2 is just 2.5. Or I could keep it separated. But let's see, 2.5 times 12. Because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to separate it. First, I'm going to say, let's look at the whole number. What is 2 times 12? And then I'm going to add, what's 1/2 times 12? Two times 12 is 24. That's 12 plus 12. I'm not done yet. What's 1/2 of 12? Well, probably a third grader or a second grader could just tell you split 12 in half, you get 6. That's our answer. Okay, so I could say 6. If I wasn't that sure, I would do 12 times 1 is 12. 12 halves. 2 goes into 12 how many times? 6. But that's not my answer. Here's my answer. 24 plus 6 is 30. That's my answer. let's see, 5 1/3 times 11. These numbers have already been combined for us. Maybe we should break them up. So let's have 5 times 11 plus 1/3 times 11. Well, 5 times 11 is the whole number. 5 times 11 is 55. 1/3 times 11 is 11 thirds. I don't want to just write 55 and 11 thirds. How many times does 3 go into 11? 3, 6, 9, 12. 12 is too much, so 3 times. What's left over? 3 times 3 is 9, so 3 2/3. So we have 55 plus 3 2/3, so it's 58 2/3. Looking over on the back, if the whole bar is 4 units long, which it looks like it is, what is the length of the shaded part? And I'm kind of laughing because this is almost too easy. It's just too easy. But here's the thing. We need to know the process. Write a multiplication equation for the diagram and then solve. So let's see. How much of the bar is shaded? 1, 2, 3. 3/4 times the whole length, 4. What is 3/4 of 4? Well, it's obviously just 3. That's our answer. But let's go ahead and just do this part. Write a multiplication equation. 3/4 times 4 equals, an equation actually has equals, and we're going to have what it equals. 3 times 4 is 12. 12/4. Well, what is 12/4? 4 goes into 12 3 times. That's it. It looks like maybe it should take a long time to solve. It actually shouldn't. Okay. Now, moving on. Circle the expressions that are equal to 8/6 times 3. Explain why the others are not equal using words, pictures, or numbers. Circle the expressions that are equal to 8/6 times 3. Here's my 8/6 times 3. Well, I need to know, to be able to even look at these, what does 8/6 times 3 equal? 8 times 3 is 24. Oh, 24/6. I like that because 6 goes into 24 4 times. So which of these answers are going to equal 4? Oh, here's one that equals 4. Circle the expressions that are equal to that. Well, this one's equal. So now I have to go through, and this is called evaluating. I need to evaluate all of these answers. Let's see. 8 times 3 is going to be 24. 24 divided by 6. Hey, what told me to do that first? It's the parentheses. 24 divided by 6 is 4. This one also has to be equal. 3 times 6 is 18. I'm doing that first because it's in parentheses. Divided by 8. So 18/8. Well, how many times does 8 go into 18? Let's see. 8, 16, 24. So it has to be 2. And there's a little bit left over. 2 2/8. Well, hold on a second. Don't circle that. 2 2/8 is not 4. Okay, did I show explain why the others are not equal using words, pictures, or numbers? And so here I'm showing what it equals, and that clearly does not equal 4. I can make it clear with just a symbol, like that. That doesn't equal 4. Okay, good. I don't want to circle this because it says circle the expressions that are equal. So if I circle that, I'm showing that that's equal. Okay. Hey, it says here, Hachi says, does it say to explain each expression? No, it doesn't. It just says to explain the ones that are not equal. Well, let's start finishing up. 2.5 times 2. Well, I can just think about this logically. I'm going to solve it two different ways as I finish up. 2.5, like $2.50 times 2 is $5. So 5 minus 1 equals 4. That's just solving it really quickly. Well, what if I solved it in a kind of slower way that is just like how we solved all the other problems? 2 times 2 is 4. 1/2 of 2, again, you could just say it's 1, or we could do the math. 1/2 times 2 is 2/2. 2 goes into 2 one time. 4 plus 1 equals 5. Oh, but, ooh, good catch. It's not plus, it's minus. Okay, so that's 4. What did I do wrong? Oh, no, I'm right. Okay. Whew. Well, let's see. Now I'm getting a little confused. So it was actually plus, but that's not the whole problem. 4 plus 1 is 5. That's just to get to the 5. 5 minus 1 equals 4. So I gotta circle it. It equals 4.